this is Professor William Wagner for Salt and Light Global and the Great Lakes Justice Center, and it's Faith and Freedom Friday. Folks, religious expression is under attack around the world and in your own backyard. We started Salt and Light Global and Great Lakes Justice Center many years ago, and one of the very first things that I was personally involved in was a pastor in Sweden who preached from the Holy Bible on marriage and what the Bible says about sexuality. The full force of the Swedish government came down upon him, and we ended up representing Christian people around the world, and we came in support of that pastor. It went all the way to the Swedish Supreme Court, and we ultimately were able to assist the pastor in a complete vindication, where religious freedom again served as a limitation on the exercise of raw government power. That seems to be a long time ago, and today we see in Finland a member of parliament now facing a very similar prosecution for basically speaking and expressing what is in the Holy Bible, and now facing criminal charges. We have likewise right here in our own backyard a high school student who was sharing what his faith says about sexuality and some things in a private conversation off campus, not in any way related to anything related to the school. And the government and the school have brought the full force of the power that the government has against this student, and is punishing the student. We're representing him. We have filed a lawsuit. We hope to vindicate his First Amendment religious liberty rights, his First Amendment speech rights, among other things. So my point is, religious liberty is now under attack, even more than it has been in the past. You're probably seeing that. And what I want you to understand, though, is that freedom of expression and freedom of speech, you either use it or you lose it. And so I'm calling on all Christian people to come behind that member of parliament in Sweden, to come behind this Christian high school student that is a God-fearing young man who just wants to be able to be a normal student, and all of a sudden his whole life and his family's life has been thrown a complete an upheaval with the use of government power against him. We need to speak up. We can no longer be silent. Our representatives in Congress, are considering something called the Global Respect Act. That is a proposed law that, puts special rights with regard to, all this LGBTQ stuff way ahead of everything else. And, if we're going to, in foreign policy, protect human rights, if we're going to protect civil rights here at home, we have to, understand from where this liberty comes in the first place. We can't just make it up as we go and then go and say we're going to advance somebody's political agenda so that we can advance our own political agenda. We have to understand that these liberties are constitutional rights that serve as a limitation on the exercise of government power, and that limitation is there to protect people like this high school student, to protect people like this member of parliament who is facing these charges in Finland. And in my early days when we began this fight, we could rely on those rules of law, protect people like Pastor Aki Green, who was the Swedish pastor that the Swedish government came against. I'm not sure we can, rely on what the law says anymore, because so many judges and so many government officials, are willing to disregard the law to advance political agendas. That means that each one of us, each Christian person tonight, number one, we need to hit our knees and we need to pray for all these people that are going through this persecution. But number two, we need to equip ourselves to engage the culture in the way that Paul did in the Bible. He didn't just, sit back. He stood up and he used the government, operations, to be able to advance the gospel and to be able to, advance, the truth. And so I'm calling on all Christian people to, in a very peaceful way and a very respectful way, stand up for truth. Because if you don't stand up, if we don't speak, we will lose our ability to speak. And so until next time, this is Professor William Wagner for Salt and Light Global and the Great Lakes Justice Center. God bless you. Have a good day.